Okay, today we're going to be talking about the coordinate plane and linear equations. You should be on page 1 of your note packet. So we're going to just review the coordinate plane for a minute. We have what's called the x-axis and we have the y-axis. So make sure you understand the x-axis runs horizontally. So when we're talking about our x values, we're talking about values that go either left or right. And when we're talking about our y values, we're talking about values that go up and down, okay, or vertically. So in the case of A, point A, let's look at point A here. We have A being at 3, 5, they're saying. Well, every point has a name, and every name of the point has an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So the x-coordinate tells you where you're going on the x-axis or horizontally. So in this case, we begin at point O, origin, and we go 1, 2, 3, right, positive 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, positive 5, vertically. And that's where you get your 3, 5 from. Okay? So, a couple of more things I just want to point out, and then you can graph the other points there. So, there's a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 sitting here. What happens is the x and y axis cut this plane into 4 what's called quadrants. Okay? The quadrants start in the upper right and move counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's get to plotting these points. So if you look at right here, it says on the diagram, coordinates of A are shown. State the coordinates of B, C, and D. Okay, so I'll do B with you. B, we're going to go left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Left is negative, okay? Think of a regular number line. When you're moving from 0 and you go left, you're going negative. And from there, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, which is positive, up 4. I don't know what's going on there. So what I want you to do is hit pause and do point C and point D, please. Okay, I have C at -1, -2. And D at 5, -2. Next, if a point is plotted in the first, oh, I skipped one. What are the coordinates of the origin? Okay, so that's another important word. The origin is this point in the middle here. And so if we follow what we've done with the other points, we have to talk about how far left or right we're going. Well, we're starting at the origin and we're going no far. We're not going anywhere left or right, nor are we going anywhere up or down vertically. So the origin is 0, 0. Okay, part C says if a point is plotted in the first quadrant, okay, so we're talking about quadrant 1, which is over here. Then what is true about the signs of its x and y coordinates? Well, in order to get into quadrant 1, we have to go right, which is positive, and up, which is positive. So our x value is positive and our y value is positive. So we're going to write they are both positive. Okay? Okay, so let's just keep going. Let's go down to exercise 2. Exercise 2 is about plotting points. So, in order to plot points, you just have to know where you're going. 1, 2, -3, 4, and you see I'm putting x and y's, and this is a really good idea. So in the case of A, it's right 1, up 2, and you put an A. They're also asking what quadrant, so we might as well do that. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. We might as well just put them in as we're going. So A is a 1. Okay, next one, B, negative 3, 4. X or is negative 3. 1, 2, 3. And the y coordinate is positive 4. 1, 3, 4. So that's B. At this point, hit pause and do C and D, please. Okay, so you want to check your answers there for C and D and check your quadrants and make sure that's all good. And let's keep moving. So this next part talks about, I see, linear relationships. A linear relationship is just an equation of a line. So when we plot any equation, we're going to create a picture called a graph, okay? So we're creating a graph, and all the values of the x, y's, or all those points are going to make up some picture. In the case of a linear equation, we're going to have what's called a linear relationship, which means line. So the key here is to understand that linear is going to create a line. So if we go down on our notes and we look at this problem here, so this is exercise 3, and it says, consider the linear relationship, so we're going to have a line, given by the equation y equals 4x minus 3. Create a table of values for this linear relationship. Okay, so I'm going to start you off, just in case you don't remember how to do this. We're going to do this by hand, and then we'll continue with the calculator after. Okay, so we have values for x that we're going to input into the expression here that is equal to y. So in this case, it's going to be 4 times a negative 1 minus 3. It's 4 times negative 1, so that's a negative 4 minus 3. Negative 4 minus 3 is a negative 7. Therefore, my x-coordinate is negative 1. My y-coordinate is negative 7. And the point on the graph is negative 1, negative 7, which actually falls one below the graph. But that's okay. You can estimate that. You're going to do the same for each of the x values here. So that would be a 0. See how I'm just writing them all? And you substitute in. So go ahead and finish that off and plot the points, and we'll see where we are. Okay, so here are your points. Here are your points plotted. And now we have to connect the dots. So you're going to use a straight edge. I'm going to use this little line tool that I have. But you're going to use a straight edge and connect the dots. You can use the back of your calculator, anything that's straight, but it has to be straight, okay? I just want to straighten this part out. Okay, you connect the dots, you create a line, hence linear relationship. And then what we want to do is we want to name the line. So this line is named by the equation y equals 4x minus 3. Okay? All right, so let's keep going. We're going to skip over this for a minute and then we'll come back to it because I want to talk about this one here. This one here we're going to do using our graphing calculator. So what you're going to do here is you're going to want to put it in a y equals format, because y equals is the button you're going to use on your calculator, which we've seen before. So what we need to do is take this equation, 2x plus 4 equals 10, and we have to, oh sorry, that's 4y, excuse me, equals 10, and we have to solve so that y is alone. So y stays and everything else goes. So we're going to take away 2x from both sides, and we get, I'm going to write it over here, 4y, so what's left on this side is this 4y, equals, I'm going to write negative 2x plus 10. I still have a 4 with the y, so that's going to have to get divided out. I do it everywhere so that I get y equals a negative 2 over 4, which is equal to a negative 1 over 2. 2 over 4 is the same as 1/2. Okay, that's x, and then I have 10 divided by 4. which is a 2.5. Now I have it in the form of y equals. Okay, so now you're going to go to your calculator here, and let's see if I can put, whoop. Okay, I wanted to get the whole thing up. My online calculator is not working, so you're just going to have to follow. You're going to have to hit y equals right here, and then you're going to put the equation into the calculator. So our equation is negative 1/2 x plus 2.5. So you're going to hit negative, this is the negative, and then parentheses, 1 divided by 2, or you can hit 0.5, negative 0.5, x is right there, plus 2.5, and you're going to, you can hit graph, and you can look at the graph of the line, but a better thing to hit is zoom 6. Zoom 6 will fix your graph so it's a nice square graph, okay? So zoom 6 is the key that you really want to hit when you're graphing, not just graph. Okay, what we really want to do here though is we want to fill in a table of values. So we want a table. So you see where it says graph? If you hit second graph, you're going to get a table. And the table should look something like this with the x and the y. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your arrow keys to scroll up and down in the X column. So you have to be in the X column, use your arrow keys, and we're going to start at -2, okay? And then -1. So we're going to go from -2, oops, not a -0, just 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's what we're going to graph. And that's only because the graph here goes around those numbers. So I want you to copy in the y's and what your points are going to be. And just hit pause and do that, please. Okay, so these are the points that you should have. Now I just want you to go plot them and graph them and put your arrows and label your graph, please. But what you can do, you see these 3.5s? What you can do is you can stick to graphing the ones with the integer values, okay? That'll make life easier, and you really don't need every point plotted. This is not right. That should be a -2, 3.5. Sorry. -2, 3.5. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so this is what your line should look like. You need your arrows. You need your straight edge used, and you need to label your line with the original equation. Okay, so we use this one. All right, next, what we're going to do here is, whoa. We're going to move to exercise 5. We're given a linear equation, and they want to know, does the point 2, 5 satisfy the equation, justify? Well, what they're really saying to you is, does this point fit in this equation? So if you think of it this way, xy, instead of writing y equals 4x minus 3, we would write 5 equals 4 times 2 minus 3. It's substitution. And they really want to know if it checks. So 4 times 2 is 8, minus 3 is 5. So 5 does equal 5. And therefore it checks. Does the point 2, 5 lie on the graph of the linear equation? Explain. Well, it does, yes, because if the point or the coordinates are a solution, so if the point is a solution, to the equation, then it is a point on the line. So you can do number 6 because time is going to run out. You could try number 6 and we'll finish this up tomorrow together. Okay, thanks. Have a good night.